Okay, I want to share with you an idea called WIIFM cubed. WIIFM, that's a funny word, right? But if you have been in sales for very long, you probably know this as what's in it for me. And that's the question that your prospect always wants to know. Like, why should I like why should I pay attention to you? Why should I buy from you? Why should I like what do I get out of it? And it's a very like rookie selling mistake, a very rookie persuasive mistake to go out and say, well, like I need a job, therefore you should hire me, right? Like I need to sell this. I need to make my monthly goal, my monthly commission goal. Therefore, you should buy right now. Like that's it's a super rookie mistake when it comes to persuasion to focus on your own needs over your prospects. And so we all learned very early on in selling that if we want to be successful at this, it's not about us. It's not about like us as the salesperson or us as the copywriter, the marketer, or whatever we want to persuade somebody to do. It's not about like why we want it. It's actually why they want it. Why, like what they get out of it. What's in it for them. And so in selling, like it's a critically important lesson to learn that we need to be able to communicate what's in it for you, my prospect, to do business with me, and yet that really, like, it's kind of limited when you only think about it that way. And so the other day I was thinking about this concept, this idea that what's in it for me, like, it's not a singular event. And actually, here I have it cubed, but it's probably it probably has infinite dimensions. But I want to talk about three. I want to talk about three right now. So the normal one that we think of is actually the third in the sequence, and it is like, what's in it for you to do business with me today, right? Like, what's in it for you to buy this today? But in order to actually get your prospect even to that point where they're ready to hear that, you actually have to go through at least two other really big steps before that. And those two steps are, what's in it for me to pay attention to what the heck you have to say? What in this world where everything is pulling on my attention, everything demands my attention, and I have a million different things that I could pay attention to. I could go watch, silly YouTube videos all day of cats wrestling a ball of yarn, and I could get joy out of that. So why the heck should I pay attention to your sales message today? Why should I give you my precious time, really, my precious time and attention, and have this conversation with you today, or listen to your presentation, or read your marketing piece, or read your sales letter, or read your landing page, or read your emails? Like, why should I pay attention to you over everything else that I could give my attention to in this moment? So that's WIIFM number one. What's in it for me to give you my attention? And that buys like the first few moments, maybe the first couple minutes of engagement. But most persuasive messages that are effective are much longer than a couple moments. Many persuasive messages that are really effective, like if you're thinking a webinar or a video sales letter or a conversation with a prospect or a sales letter, often you're talking 20, 30 minutes, sometimes as long as an hour. And so the second WIIFM, the second what's in it for me, is why should I stay engaged with your selling message? What's in it for me to stay engaged with this selling message? Especially as I start to realize that you're trying to convince me to do something that I wasn't necessarily planning to do before giving you my attention today. So what's in it for me to give you my attention? What's in it for me to stay engaged with the persuasive message that you are giving to me today? And then finally, we get to the point of what's in it for me to respond, to take you up on your offer, to do whatever action you're asking me to take, to take today, to give you money in exchange for your product or service. What's in it for me there? And as a copywriter, as a marketer, this is something that I've had to think about, like what actually makes the attention sale? What makes the attention sale? And it's a mix of like knowing this message is for me and is of benefit to me, and curiosity. Like I want to have my curiosity fulfilled for how you are going to, like what benefit you're going to give to me today. And so typically you want to make your advertising like convey a benefit, convey value in a way that that provokes some curiosity in the mind of your prospect. And so for that, like a good example is like if you were doing a consumer guide in your industry, the consumer guide might talk about mistakes people make when buying a particular product or service, traps that you could run into, important buying criteria, different things that the prospect would find valuable and like would give them a reason to start to dig in and give their attention to you in that selling message. And likewise with that, like, why would they stay engaged? Well, they're going to stay engaged because they actually feel like they are getting some of what they're giving you their attention for. I'll note here that like being entertaining, being funny can get you attention, but often like that's a very fleeting attention. And so you run into things like Super Bowl ads that people think of as being, oh, this is great advertisement. And it is rare that a Super Bowl ad actually has like really great ROI for the advertisers. There are exceptions, but oftentimes that brand boost, like it gets them attention for a long time, but it doesn't guarantee business success. And so they're missing number 2 in that, and maybe number 3 as well. Like just getting attention for attention's sake, like it's easy to do that with cheap mechanisms for attention, which can be humor and entertainment, or, like the whole sex sells things, whatever. Like there's lots of ways to get attention, but that attention doesn't necessarily translate into, number 1, it's not even necessarily the attention of your target audience, but number 2, it doesn't necessarily translate into ongoing engagement with a persuasive message and action. So you have to think about this. Why would I give you my attention? And you hook them in with that. And then you should fulfill on some of that, but also open up other needs. So like if I tell you like, here's the buying criteria for X, maybe not that directly, but like here's what you need to know as you're making your decision about buying X product or service, then the payoff to that somebody is getting as they're engaging with the message is they're being taught about how to make a good decision in that market. And the what's in it for me for actually making the purchase, then that what's in it for me number 3 is that they end up seeing how this product or service that you're offering actually fulfills the buying criteria and helps them avoid the pitfalls and helps them not make the mistakes and all those other things that I mentioned. And so when you think about this, like, don't think about what's in it for me as like a one thing that you need to say, right? Your prospect doesn't have like, oh, tell me the one right magic word or sentence and I'm going to buy. You have to take them through this journey that involves multiple what's in it for me decisions. Like, why should I give you my attention? Why should I be interested in what you have to say today? Why should I respond? And like I said, there's probably a million more dimensions that we can add to this, but those are really the big 3 that it comes down to. And when you think about this from like a math perspective, when you cube something, you are making the number a lot bigger. So if you take 2 cubed, it's 2 times 2 times 2, which 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. And like it gets geometrically bigger when you do this the right way. And you will become geometrically more persuasive when you use what's in it for me, and you understand what's in it for me, and you apply what's in it for me in these multiple areas, rather than just thinking like, oh, my prospect wants this solution to their problem, and so that's what's in it for them. No, like, what's in it for me? Here's why my ideal prospect really wants to pay attention to this message. Here's why my ideal prospect, once they've given it a little bit of attention, should really engage with this message and really connect with it and stay with me. Here's what's in it for my ideal prospect to actually respond to the offer that I'm going to put in front of them, and the layers of why they should respond. And so, like, that's the idea of taking what's in it for me and applying it on a much broader basis, and in multiple dimensions. And I hope, like, as you think about this, you do find it valuable. And I think that it will make you a much better persuader, whether you're a copywriter, a salesperson, doing any other kind of pitch, or doing persuasive presentations, or even just communicating with people and trying to get them to buy into whatever idea you have. To think about this, not just about the idea itself, but like that entire process, and why people pay attention to things, and why people engage with ideas and messages, and then beyond that, why they would actually change their behavior as a result. And if you are, in particular, if you're a copywriter, I'm going to share a link with this video that applies this on a level across like the attention, interest, desire, action. And it's about how I learned to write long copy that sells. And a lot of it is about this. It's about answering what's in it for me over and over and over and over again. So check out the link in the description there to learn my story of how I learned to write long copy that sells. And leave a comment below. Like, have you ever thought about applying what's in it for me in these multiple ways? And how has that worked for you? What dimensions of this did I miss that add more power to this line of thinking? Make sure that you also click that like button while you're here, and so that you'll get more content like this delivered to you. Also, so the magical algorithms of the internet will share it with more people like you who can get value out of it. Also, if you know somebody who would get value, you can certainly share this with them directly. And make sure you're subscribed. You can follow me here. You can also go to another link in the description, breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com, and get content like this from me Monday through Friday, covering persuasion, marketing, selling, business building, entrepreneurship, and more. My name is Roy Furr. This is a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I hope you've gotten a ton of value, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.